if it were you, and no one can argue that Mike McCarthy has done a terrible job and deserves to be fired, you would be making a change because you feel like it's gone as far as it can go and you need a jump start. Right. Would you make a change?
I mean, I would. I mean, we saw this with Tony Dungy and John Gruden, right? And it's just like, you get to a certain point with a certain coach where we just can't get over the hump. So you need to maybe infuse some energy, some discipline, a new perspective. And it could be already in the building, because I wonder if it came down to Dan Quinn maybe getting offered a job somewhere else, if Jerry Jones would say, hey, I'd much rather keep him because what he's done with our defense, and then it still allows you to keep Kellen Moore, because it may come down to the decisions about, out of those three coaches, who do you prefer to keep and who you may lose if you decide to keep Mike McCarthy as your head coach. To be clear, Dan Quinn was a head coach, took a team to a Super Bowl, all of that, defensive coordinator. Of the three of them, he has done the best job, right? I mean, it's an inarguable. Most consistent job. He took over a defense that was terrible. People forget Dallas' defense was terrible a couple of years ago, and he took over and made them much better. Do you think a change is in order?
I don't think it's going to happen, but yeah, if it was to happen, I would be shocked. I would probably make the move. I would make a change there. But, the Tennessee Titans, for example, they were in the playoffs and they had Mike McCarthy and they let him go. So it's just because you made it to the playoffs and you have the ability to get where they're at. They should be beyond where they just were. They should be beyond. They should be in a championship type game. So, at the end of the day, now, does Jerry Jones have to look at himself and say, now, what do I need to do? Maybe I give a little bit more control here to some other pieces. And, that's why, maybe the Sean Payton stuff was never really going to work.
I got to stop you.
That was never going to work.
Okay, the Sean Payton stuff, because listen, Sean Payton got the greatest publicist in the world, because he has the same exact resume as Mike McCarthy. He has one Super Bowl.
He went to the New Orleans Saints. When he went to the New Orleans Saints after Katrina and turned them into a Super Bowl winning team.
Remember what Green Bay was. How many did he win? With a Hall of Fame quarterback. How many did he win?
He went to New Orleans in 2006.
How many did he win?
He won one.
How many did he win with a Hall of Fame quarterback?
One.
How many Super Bowls have Mike McCarthy won with a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Also one.
They're the same person. We act like he's some genius.
Here, you have two call sheets, offensive call sheets. You got a great quarterback. You got Sean Payton here to call the plays. You got Mike McCarthy to call the plays. Who you having call your plays?
It doesn't matter. They're the same person. No,
they're not.
It's perception versus reality.
Sean Payton is an offensive mind.
And how many Super Bowls did he win with one? Mike McCarthy.
He got cheated out of another try.
Is a better offensive mind than Mike McCarthy.
Listen, what I want to point out,
resume-wise.
Listen, what you're hearing,
it's circumstances.
What you're hearing is a debate that I think is going on in a lot of places in the NFL. There are some people who consider Sean Payton, because he has a dynamic sort of
personality. That Mike McCarthy comes off like Strick.
That's why the Jerry Jones thing wouldn't mix. And I don't think that would work with Jerry Jones.
That's why.
Mike McCarthy, he's not saying much.
Right, because he comes along, he got the Strick person. And so one's a better salesman, better PR, man.
Hey, what was Rex? Good salesman.
He was, and you guys got to won a lot of big games. At the end of the day, that is one of the big factors here, right? Jerry Jones is in control of the show in Dallas, and he has made it very clear over the entirety of his tenure that he doesn't like anyone else sort of sharing any of that.
And then flip it around. Like, Sean Payton worked there, right? Like, he knows how things operate there. He knows that if he goes to Dallas, he's not going to have the same level of personnel control that he had in New Orleans.
And Dallas giving up a first-round draft pick when they need weapons, when they got a quarterback that costs that much money, they got to pay Pollard, they got to pay some guys. You're not giving up a first-round draft pick.
Even if they moved off of McCarthy, I still don't know that would be the move. I think more likely they'd promote Dan Quinn.
Exactly.
But, we'll see.
Sean Payton would have been to another Super Bowl, by the way. If they threw a flag on
He only went to one. What
about that one?
If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk.
So that wasn't PI?
If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.